Hello everyone. Today is August 24th, 2020, and today is a really special day because Windows 95 turns 25 years old. That's right, the start menu is now officially 25 years old. The taskbar and status view is 25 years old. Commands such as right-clicking and dragging out, 25 years old. Windows 95 is such a big improvement over Windows 3.1, which, for reference, if I pull up Windows 3.1 on my DOSBox, okay, so, oh, I forgot to put my ARM outlines for this version of DOSBox. Wait, I could just search. Wait, no, that's not a. So, if I, hold on. Okay, so if I go to so this is what Windows 3.1 would have looked like back in the day. So Windows 3.1 had this program manager, and you could also open stuff up. Like, it is kind of hard to use also. Like, it's so hard to multitask on this OS. You could also, you can even like put media player here, but multitasking is not easy. See this? Oh, that's the task list. Actually, multitasking is okay here, but not as great. Oh, wait, that weird sound glitch. I don't know why it happened. Okay, so I spent the entire morning installing Windows 95 on DOSBox, and I used the Dark Traveler guide, which is using DOSBox DOM, which is outdated, unfortunately. Many people are recommending you to use DOSBox Enhanced Community Edition, but unfortunately, Enhanced Community Edition doesn't work really well with Windows 95 yet. So I open up DOSBox, and I change some video settings. Full screen would be original. So if I do this, I actually did a ton of cool stuff, but so this is DOSBox. So if I want CLS, I'm at a DOS prompt. Now, if I ever want to start Windows 95, I just type boot LC, and then it's going to start from Windows 95, which means that this. Sorry, there's a weird sound bug. So I'm gonna make sure my sound still plays properly, and it's actually playing properly, but in DOSBox it's not really playing properly. Or I have to zoom in because Windows 95, most people ran it at either 640 by 480 or 800 by 600. Now, last year I obtained a Windows 95 laptop from a local computer shop. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they're like gonna stay open due to the coronavirus pandemic. So while I adjust the stream here to try fit, I just have to, the next thing I have to do is just crop it, but hold on, that crops the image 4. I want to crop the desktop, but this is kind of gigantic. Can't even zoom out in this view, so no widescreen. Okay, this is not working as well as I should, but we just bear with me, okay? Alright, so I think this is good enough. So Windows 95, it's actually one of the hardest operating systems I had to install on a virtual machine or newer computers, basically, because Windows 95 has a bunch of restrictions. Like, back in the day, people didn't expect Windows 95 to be, like, run on, like, such powerful computers like my, hold on, I remember my, such powerful computers like 3 gigahertz. Actually, the reason I'm using another computer to stream today is because of issues regarding regarding AMD Ryzen's VMA. So after I've adjusted this, now Windows 95 is a bridge between DOS and Windows, because in terms of games. So for example, it did come with Internet Explorer, however, I did not install the latest Internet Explorer version. Now I'll just restart because, let's hit restart. Because, oh wait, that's no good. Wait. Let's see, and, alright, so we opened up Windows 95, and, there we go. The startup sounds a little bit better. Now they say to free up disk space, try emptying the recycle bin. The recycle bin is a new, like, program in Windows 95 where you could keep files that you don't use. But if you mistakenly copied a file in DOS incorrectly, like for example, this MIDI file here, all you have to do is drag it there. Now, when the Computer Chronicles, which was an old PBS show back in the day, did a review on Windows 95, they said that one of the guests actually bought a CD at Tower Records. And speaking of Tower Records, the only Tower Records in the world that has physical stores is Tower Records Japan. And yes, I've bought a lot of CDs from them. It was also a mistake when I tried shipping CDs from like Amazon Japan to my Tencent warehouse, because currently Tencent only allows for C-mail delivery to the US, while in Canada they allow EMS. I just bought a Japanese Wii U, and I had to get it shipped to Canada first, to a warehouse in Canada, and then after that, I get delivered to the US via freight truck. I know. I can't just wait 2 months for a game console, unfortunately. Okay, so now let's go to play some MIDIs. So here's a MIDI that I want. So, basically I'm using Gravis Ultrasound. This is why it sounds so good. It's a really good MIDI controller. Now, we probably will not cover Doom in this video because I view Doom as more of a DOS game than a Windows game. Although you could run it on a Windows 95. So, the cycle bin's really useful and stuff, but I don't have many programs installed here. Yet you could also use internet tools. The first version of Internet Explorer is here, which means that more people actually started connecting to the internet in the mid-90s. When they started buying computers and they had modems and stuff. Like, all you had to do is plug a computer into the phone line, pay your phone company those saucy per minute fees, and guess what? When you get paid those per minute service fees, your phone bill's going to go up. Like, up the ass. But that's besides the point. Now, for some reason, this is not at a 254. This is 16-bit color. You have to be 16-bit color if you want to run the program I was running. So back to Internet Explorer. Then there were people who were buying modems, and they went to AOL and stuff. But then Microsoft tried to force their way into the browser market with Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer 4 is an invasive species, and I have not chosen to install the OSR2 as the result. Just keep that in mind. And for multimedia, you have a media player, sound recorder, and volume control. Although I have no microphone to record sound to in DOSBox. You also have ScanDisk, which I highly recommend you do not use on SSDs, and Disk Defragmenter, which is broken in the latest Windows 10 update, at least for SSDs. I do have a working command though that executes like every week, and it actually works. So you have calculator, which you could do your math here. Like, for example, if we check the latest, the calculator in Windows 10 is actually more advanced because you can actually get live rates of currencies. So let's see, if I want to buy a CD that was 2,000 yen, I just have to divide it by the current rate, and I pay $18.86. So it's a little expensive for a CD, but I've actually paid more for some of them. Alright, so that's it. You also have email too, which I don't use. And then you have Hyperterminal, which I don't really use. Notepad, on registration. You also have MS Paint. We all remember MS Paint, right? Unfortunately, I can't draw that well in MS Paint, but I saw someone use Windows 7 MS Paint, and it worked really well. See this? I'm drawing on MS Paint. This does look like Washington State, right? Oh, does it look more like Canada? It kind of looks more like Canada, though. But there is some beef between on Instagram and stuff, especially with people being over dramatic, so myself included. Anyways, once you go to, you have a phone dialer, so if you have that modem, you could just call someone and phone freak them. Or if you know what you're doing, you can actually flood call. I wouldn't go much into it because it is very, very dangerous. Now, here's WordPad. So, a WordPad, you could type stuff like, "Hey there, this is to subscribe to my channel or else." So this is WordPad. Now you could also save this as I saved it as YouTube. Now, that's probably all the programs I want to make you see. Now, there's also control panel items. Like, you have accessibility options. Very important because I heard reports that in Ontario, people with special needs are not treated that well. You could also add new hardware, which I already done, and remove programs. Date and time. Unfortunately, I had this set to the wrong time zone because during installation, I couldn't even set my time zone to like Eastern time. So it's actually Pacific Daylight here. And the next thing I have to do is I hit cancel. Now I could change display settings, but I won't change it here because I have to run a program that's really strict on the display settings later. You can also use fonts and stuff, which is a separate folder. Now I also have gaming options. So if you have a game controller or something, you could play games. And here's the internet where you could just dial in stuff, not covering that. You can use keyboard. So let's type in Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates has always been criticized in his life because because first of all, he sold BASIC, which is supposed to be free software, and then he also sold Windows and had aggressive like marketing schemes for like Windows browser, like Internet Explorer. They even forced Apple to like accept the use of Internet Explorer or not get Microsoft Office. So Apple bent over to Microsoft. Now, speaking about Apple, 9 years ago, Steve Jobs had retired from Apple, which was kind of tragic, honestly. Because less than 2 months later, he passed away. And then Apple was under the direction of Tim Cook 9 years ago today. Ever since he took over, Apple is kind of ruined. And especially in the last 4 years alone, with the FBI stuff and also the BLM stuff, and their softness with the PRC. So anyways, you could also change the blink rate too, but I probably won't change anything. Here's language. You could add languages, but you cannot add Japanese, Korean, or any of those East Asian languages. Because back in the 90s, if you want to add Japanese, there are 2 types of computers in Japan that came out at the time. The first one was NEC PC, which was developed by NEC and used their own software and hardware and different like everything. Architecture, even though it used the same processor, everything was completely different. Therefore, it had a unique library of games, even AeroGiz. AeroGiz are something I shouldn't say on stream, but I'll type it in. Okay, so here's the language, and the other type was actually DOSV, which was an initiative by IBM to store kanji on a hard drive rather than a dedicated chip like on a PC-98. And you could choose a keyboard type, except I'm emulating a keyboard right now. Now you can also change the modems stuff, which I don't have a modem installed. And here's the mouse. I am right-handed, by the way. And you could test your mouse like this. It's very fun. Not like the Windows 10 mouse test area, which is kind of ass. Now you can change the pointer styles. which are basically the same. You can actually change the cursor and stuff. You can also turn on pointer trails if you want to irritate yourself, and this is your general stuff. Now, multimedia is where you can do stuff like Sound Blaster 16 and video compression, MIDI. I'm using ultrasound MIDI. That's why it sounded so good earlier. CD-ROM and advanced. I haven't tried CD-ROM yet. And here's network. We're not covering that. Passwords, not covering that either. We have regional settings. So for example, numbers, I set everything to US format. I tried getting Japanese to work, but unfortunately the differences are too much. And here's the sound scheme. So you can change this. And you even have system settings. So I'm emulating a just forget my real name. I'm emulating a Pentium 1 with 512 megs of RAM. That was really beefy, and there's a hard drive controller which I didn't install drivers for, but that's okay. So for the display adapter, I'm using the S3 Trio. For the monitor, I'm using a 1024 by 768 Super VGA monitor. That's emulated, of course. Mouse have standard PS2. We have ports. So I also have the Voodoo 3D graphics accelerator, which I'll show off one game. I do have 2 games. However, one game might put me in trouble with a certain company. So if MPU41, which is a popular MIDI controller, a game port joystick, and for system devices, nothing interesting. I did have to remove plug and play PCI BIOS because DOSBox, or this build of DOSBox does not like plug and play. Because if you get plug and play, it'll say Windows protection error. You need to restart your computer. And thankfully I found out the hard way. So that's it for the system tour. Or is it? You can also change taskbar. So you could auto hide the taskbar, which I don't like. Small icons in the start menu, also I don't like. You can even show the clock, which is mandatory. And you can do start menu programs and documents menu. So documents menu is basically your recents. And here's, you can also do printers, and there's also help too, which is really helpful. Compared to Windows 10 help system, Windows 10's help system is really ass, of course. And this is actually very, very, very easy. So, a message to Microsoft: fix Windows 10. Fix the help system. Fix the code stability. Okay, enough. And stop betting over to the PRC, okay? Now, you also have run, which you could execute commands. Now, I tried using this Quake, but it crashed DOSBox, so maybe no one that emulates a Windows. So, we'll run Quake. Now, this is a mature game, but so if you're not over the age of 13 or older, then you're not allowed to, I shouldn't say you're not allowed to, but under New York State, New York Attorney General COPPA orders, I don't think you're allowed to watch this video. So, let's do single player, which is, so let's try easy. Now, oh, crap. I'll play on my computer because I'll choose another display because the display I'm currently using is like too dim, which is an LG one. Okay, no, actually, I want to like to walk through a gate to like to do an episode. So here's Quake, and it could shoot stuff. So basically, this uses a 3D FX chip, which should make it look better. Now there are a bunch of Quake ports too, but I do not condone what you're doing in the game. I seriously don't. So I did get some more stuff. It is kind of gory. It's kind of gory too, but of course there is. So basically, that's Quake. Unfortunately, I cannot show more of the gameplay because of So this is actually a shareware version. So after running Quake, we got to show you something that is more representative of this OS. Now, I really hope that Universal Music does not copy strike my video, because I have spoken up against their artists previously. So here's... Okay, so that's... So now this is actually where you can play DOS games. I forgot to copy Doom on the stream, so... Then you can go to, like, MS-DOS mode, which will... Actually, surprisingly, this is an MS-DOS operating system, but it has Windows 95 on top. So let's say I want to play Retro City Rampage, which is actually... Hold on, let me adjust the screen size. It is kind of small right now, so... This is actually a parody game of, like... This is Grand Theft Auto, but has a lot of 80s references. Because we know the 80s is the greatest decade of all time. Now, you're wondering how do you get this? So, to get this game, you need to have, like, a, I'm sorry for the messy stream, but I'm fixing this right now. So this game only has PC speaker sound, which is a little disappointing, but understandable because they want to make it run on the highest variety of computers, so... Okay, so now we can play story mode, which I actually have, Okay, now we'll just slip into the bus lane for perfect escape. Now, I already played this a little bit earlier. This is a reference to Frogger. Do not let us in. They won't play nice to force them to stop the hard way. Hit the crosswalk button. Now look at this. Are you serious? It'll be squashed like that frog over there. Wait, a gritty shoes from the Green Hills. That is a reference to Sonic the Hedgehog. So you have to do this and... Hold on. See? He should give you the ability to want a supersonic. Yeah, I get it. Oh my god. That was... Hedgehog. And here's... I press the crosswalk button. And they... Like, this is gonna get really saucy. Yo! Whoops, go look at what? Loot. This is your fault. We were now on foot. So basically, get to go rob the convenience store, and I do not condone what you do on stream, because I'm only using this game as a show of concept. Oh wait, it was control shoot again. Was it shift? Wait, so I'm kind of bad at this game. I'm going. You get to buy health at vending machines, which is understandable. But you gotta avoid the police. Now, I do not condone what I'm doing in this game in real life. Yeah, the T-Squad. So TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, are going after you. Oh wow, who was that? Was that? Oh my god, I'm getting shot and chased. That looks like a Karate Kid. And is that Rocky or something? Now here's here's a time machine, which looks like a porta potty. It's a time machine, tubular. Grand Theft Time and Space here. Yeah, it's like Grand Theft Auto, but most heinous. What? Something wrong. If flashing, use Kit 2. Uh-oh, too late. Deftropolis. Flax. Hop in. Actually, I'm so bad driving in this game. I mean, you could always change the driving controls. Uh-oh. This is getting kind of saucy. Or cheesy, I should say. Oh crap, look how destroyed my car is. Alright, so I have to... That took me a while, but that's enough with Retro City Rampage 486. Because now... Alright, so we have to wait, so this guy's sleeping. Kinda looks like Mario 2. Or if you're in Japan, it's Mario USA. So you can actually launch rockets here, which again I do not condone. Oh, hold on. You shouldn't be using this, so at this point I'm just going to exit the game. I won't be saving, so it's going to go back to normal size, but we're going to readjust this. Now, I am in a forum chat with, or actually a Discord chat with people who are trying to port the game Super Mario 64 to various platforms. Now, Nintendo will not be happy with me if I show the port. Although I did upload some footage when I was a little bit stressed, so please forgive me about that, okay? So, but I'm using the voodoo thing again, so I can only show part of it, so well, I just you might be wondering, it looks like the Nintendo 64, and it does kind of look like the Nintendo 64, except this is native code running on a DOSBox emulator. So basically, the reason it looks so similar is because when Ultra HLE came out, which was the first really good Nintendo 64 emulator, it like intercepted like the the GPU calls, the Silicon graphics calls to the Voodoo code, and they were pretty similar too. So Shadow's kind of messed up, but other than that, this game works and plays fine. Alright, so this is the most I can do. So basically, that is my tour of Windows 95 and DOSBox. I'm sorry if I couldn't do Doom this time, but I hope you enjoyed this stream. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.